Hey everybody, it's Mattie here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Monday. Hope you had an excellent weekend. And boy, do we have a lot of news today, starting with all kinds of stuff related to Joe Rogan. He had a great podcast with Killer Mike, with whom I'm not particularly familiar, to be honest, but they had a great conversation about Bitcoin, about this hegemony that the central banks have had for really centuries, and the centralization that has been the result of that. So we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at some hot projects in the form of Holo and in the form of Grin. We have news about Bakkt today, all kinds of stuff going on, in fact. But let's begin here with something a little bit different, with some IOST news. They are having a mainnet launch next month, and as it happens, they're looking for node holders. And listen, it would be great if you could vote for us, for Altcoin Buzz. We're featured here, as you can see on the website. There's a link in the description, and we're going to be happy to cover the news. We're going to be updating on the project. We're going to remain unbiased, of course. But this is going to be good passive income for Altcoin Buzz to help us give you the best and latest news in the crypto space. So this link will be in the description. Do vote for Altcoin Buzz if you have a chance. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate your votes. Thank you very much. Moving on to the big news of the day, or at least the partially big news of the day. We have an indirect indication that Bakkt does not seem to be launching tomorrow, January 29th, as originally promised. So here's a tweet that they put out recently. Our mission is to build the first integrated institutional grade exchange, traded markets, and custody for physical delivery of digital assets. And if you want to be part of our mission, we're looking for a senior full stack engineer. You can view the job here. So Bakkt is hiring. If you take a look at their LinkedIn page, you can perhaps apply for this position, senior full stack engineer. Easy apply, even easier. But here's the thing about it. The Intercontinental Exchange has posted details about Bakkt's platform, first product, although the exchange that was really supposed to launch at the end of January, if we all remember, they don't have any updates regarding the launch date. And if you go back to this original tweet, there's all kinds of chirps that they're receiving by people. So we're not launching tomorrow. Show me the money, all kinds of stuff. Hi, I'm interested. So some people legitimately do want the job, but you can see this guy's bugging them about not having a good PR strategy. When delay, as you can see, all kinds of other stuff. When are you launching? They haven't answered any of these questions. So this is a very indirect kind of news story because there's nothing really concrete here. But for them to be announcing this senior engineer role really the day before they're supposed to hit the market, and them kind of at least ostensibly avoiding some of these questions, doesn't really paint the best picture. It's not the best optics for them in the space. If you want to read more about Bakkt and their announcement about the details of Bitcoin futures, this article from just under a week ago, you can check it out on newsbtc.com. If you're unfamiliar with Bakkt, it is something that eventually, hopefully, one way or another, is going to have a big impact on the space. You can read about that here. What is Bakkt? ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange Futures US, offers physically delivered daily futures contracts on Bitcoin traded in Bitcoin US dollar. These contracts will be traded on ICE's electronic trading platform, which offers industry-leading speed and reliability, regulated by the CFTC. Check this article out for more information if you're curious to learn more about what Bakkt is and what it has to offer to the institutional players in the space. On to Mr. Rogan's discussion now with his guest from the other day, Killer Mike. You could check out the original podcast here. We will link to it in its entirety. It's about 3 hours. I was listening to it the other day myself in the car, and look, they cover a whole range of topics. I'm not suggesting that all they discussed was Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but you do have a little bit of a discussion on that topic, and I thought it was quite interesting. So being covered by all of the crypto sites, of course. You could check this out here. Joe Rogan talks to Killer Mike on Bitcoin versus central banks. And there's some great points, there's some great quotes that can be pulled out of this. So for example, the amount of money that banks control, if you just stop and think about what goes on with the Federal Reserve and what goes on with all the money and how much a dollar is worth overseas and the balance of it all, if there was something that we could all rely on that wasn't controlled by a gigantic group of people who have a vested interest in profiting off this pile of money, if it was a sort of Bitcoin-like thing, it would be a really different world. It would be really, really different. Killer Mike agreed with that point and said it would be great if we could live in a world without money, but then he posits, quote, is the banking mafia of sorts ever going to let that happen, in response to Joe's comment. It was a good exchange, a really good back and forth. Admittedly, they both discussed how really they're not knowledgeable, excessively knowledgeable at least, about cryptocurrency, about how it works, about cryptography, and about the blockchain. But they did touch on some of the broader topics that certainly relate to the space. It was a really interesting discussion. That's what I like about Rogan. He's the kind of guy that I listen to a lot of his content, just to be totally transparent here. And he's not an expert in any one thing, but he's got that curious kind of mindset, right? He's like an intelligent bro. He's the kind of guy that tries to dig deeper into topics, and he's not a scholar on any one subject in particular, but he's very conversant in a wide range of different things. It would be nice to try to get him to have more and more crypto and blockchain experts on as the weeks and months go by. Maybe that's something that we can collectively do, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, other members of the crypto community, because as he said here, quote, I'm fascinated by them, the idea of a decentralized economy. So in the same way that he's had many experts on when it comes to astronomy, when it comes to archaeology, when it comes to genetics, when it comes to all kinds of different things, artists, it really would be good to have somebody like at least in my opinion, a Mike Novogratz, maybe a Charlie Lee, maybe some others you can think of. I think it would be probably best to avoid the John McAfees of the world, but maybe some of you would like to see that as well. Either way, check out the podcast here in its entirety. Again, it's about 3 hours. It's number 1230 if you subscribe to the Joe Rogan YouTube channel. It's a good listen. It's a good watch. We'll link to it in the description below. On to other news, continuing with the rapid fire here. Today's hot cryptocurrency, HOT, is riding the bulls up over 21% in the US dollar, in Bitcoin, and in Ethereum markets. We're here on CoinGape.com. Of course, we are talking about Holo. So the top cryptocurrencies are down 80 to 90% from their all-time highs. And unfortunately, today we have seen yet another significant retracement. However, there is one cryptocurrency which is enjoying the bulls. Holo is that cryptocurrency which has been on an upward trajectory now for about a week. It's the 32nd largest by market cap of 176 million as per the data provided by CoinMarketCap. At the time of this article's publication, which now is perhaps a little bit out of date, it's been trading at 0.13 cents with 24-hour gains of over 27%. So it's not quite as high anymore because we have had unfortunately, some negative price action in the markets since the time of my last recording. But check that out. It's still up over 16%. So a very noticeable exception amid a little bit of market turmoil, unfortunately, that continues to affect us. In other quick news, we have the spotlight now on the Mimblewimble privacy coin Grin, Grin, listed on KuCoin cryptocurrency exchange. So some good news. KuCoin, a crypto exchange based in Singapore, recently announced that it was adding various trading pairs for the newly launched Grin privacy coin. The trading pairs for Grin on KuCoin were Grin Ethereum, Grin Bitcoin, and Grin USDT. The buying of these pairs began on January 24th, and selling began later that day on January 24th. It was also announced that withdrawals would begin on January 26th. You can read more about Grin and Mimblewimble. Unfortunately, Grin has not enjoyed the same protection against recent market trends that Holo has. So Holo is up 27%. Grin is basically down 27% over the course of the last 24 hours. Unfortunate, but we know that it's one that many of you out there in the Altcoin Buzz Army are eyeing, are following. So let's keep an eye on it. Let's continue to look for updates. Down though it may be in the last 24 hours, it's important to note here that over the course of the last 7 days, check that out, up almost 240%. So it's certainly a project that we're going to be watching going forward. And finally today, guys, and just very quickly, we have this news on altcoinbuzz.io. Our friends over at Enjin are up to some very good work. So upcoming mobile RPG role-playing game Beanie Beanie will use the Enjin blockchain. Beanie Studio recently announced that they will be utilizing the Enjin blockchain for their advertising platform, delivery service, and upcoming mobile augmented reality, virtual reality compatible action RPG Beanie Beanie. And check out this quote by the Maxim Enjin CEO. We're submitting the Enjin token swap update today or tomorrow. Really great feature for a quick no hassle swap of tokens and coins with the ability to select the exchange. More exchanges will be added after release. So once you try it out, you'll wonder why you never used other exchanges. It's that easy. You guys can read more about this story here. Of course, we'll link to it as with everything else below, but it's a good one and a good update for our friends over at Enjin. So let's keep an eye on that. Oh, and that about rounds it out. A very big day of news. A lot is happening. And to be updated and to be up to speed with all that continues to happen, do be sure you guys are following Altcoin Buzz and Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead, smash the thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share this with your friends if you think it applies to them and their interests. Here is our last video for you to check out if you're interested. I wish you all the best of luck if you choose to invest on this Monday, but have a great start to your week. And we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.